Hello everyone, this is Kanimozhi from Agricultural Biotechnology Department, Bharat Institute of Higher Education Research. Today we are going to see about food preservation. So what is food preservation? Why we have to do? So one of the process, okay? So in which food, vegetables are prevented from getting spoiled, okay? So from the preservation, we can preserve the color, taste, and nutritive values of the foods, okay? So food products last for a long period of time and shelf life of the food product is increased. So food preservation is the process, okay? So in which you are going to preserve the food and vegetables, okay? So but while preserving the food, the color, taste, and nutritive values of food also preserved, okay? What is the proper definition for the food preservation? So it's retaining food over a period of time without being contaminated by pathogenic organisms or chemical and without losing its color, texture, flavor, and nutritious value. Okay, so from the food preservation, we can uh, preserve the food from the contamination from various microbes and also from the chemical materials. Okay, by without losing its color, texture, flavor, and nutritive value. Food preservation usually involves preventing the growth of bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms, as well as retarding the oxidation of fat, which cause transitivity. So, from the food preservation, we can prevent the growth of bacteria. We can kill the bacteria. We can preserve our food from the microbes. Okay, as well as we can preserve our food from the rancidity. So that is rancidity means what? Here the oxidation of fat, which giving a smell. Okay, so these are the definition for the preservation of food. So next one is types of food. What are the types? Uh, so it is divided into three types: perishable, semi-perishable, shelf-stable. Okay, so perishable example fruits and milk. Semi-perishable cheese, some ready cooked food, that is some processed food. Self-stable food, that is grains, everything comes under self-stable. So we will see one by one the definition for the types of food. First, perishable food. So these foods last for less time, 2 days to 1 week. You can last. You can. It will be in good condition from 2 days to 1 week. So example, we can say fruits, some vegetables, milk, meat. These are all example for perishable food. Okay, what is semi-perishable food? So this semi-perishable food last for around 2 months and or processed food. Okay, so these foods are produced from the perishable food. Okay, so if you want to ice cream now, ice creams will be made from the milk, right? So these foods, that is semi perishable foods, are prepared from the perishable food, and this is a processed one. Okay, so if for example we can say ice cream, cheese, bread, cake, pastries, everything comes under semi perishable food. So it is last around 2 months. Okay, and it's a processed one. Okay, so what is shelf stable food? It has longer shelf life, more than 6 months. So example we can say food grain, rice, wheat, so everything, all food grains comes under shelf stable food. Okay, so there are three types of food. One is perishable, semi-perishable, shelf stable. Okay, so next we are going to see why we have to preserve the food. What's the reason? So we can enjoy any kind of food in any season. Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, so sometimes mango. Okay, so mango we could not eat in all the season. Okay, so for that what happened, we can drink the mango juice in all the season by preserving the mango. Okay, so we can enjoy any kind of foods in any season. Okay, so we eat food even it is not available in our areas. Okay, so most of the areas not having all type of food. Okay, So these foods are all available. Okay, when you preserve the food, when you preserve the fruits, when you preserve the vegetables, okay, we can store our food easily and without worries. Okay, so by using the preservation method, we can store our food easily. We don't need to give much time for that. Okay, we can preserve the food. Okay, so these are why we have to preserve. These are the main reason. So one is we can enjoy any kinds of food in any season, and we can eat the food even if it is not available in our areas. We can store the food easily and without worries. So these are the reason to preserve the food. So for example, here I given a mango. So for a mango will not available all the season, right? So you can enjoy all kind of food in any season like mango. Mango we could not get it all the season. So if you want the mango in then you can get it as a mango juice, mango pulp, mango pickle, raw mango powder. So these are all preserved one. Okay, the mango juice, mango pickle, raw mango. These are all preserved one. Okay. What's the principles of food preservation? What's the principle means? It's inhibit the growth and activity of microorganisms. That is, it will inhibit the growth. Inhibit growth means what? Stop the growth of the microorganism. If the microbes start to grow, means what happen? It will spoil the food. Okay, so we could not consume the food properly. We could not consume. Okay, so it inhibit the growth and activity of the microorganism. Okay, so asepsis means what? To keep out microorganism. Next is one is removal of microorganism. So we can remove the microorganism by any method. Okay, adding some of the salt like that. Okay, stopping the growth and activity of microorganism by applying the temperature or any applying drying method or chemicals method. So these are methods to stop the growth and activity of the microorganisms. Next one is destruction of microorganism. So in the microorganism are destructed by heating or radiation method. Okay, so these are all methods. So where is low, you can apply the low temperature means water. Or sometimes the microbes growth will not be up here. Okay, so the main principle of food preservation is first one is inhibit the growth and activity of microorganism, that is asepsis, removal of microorganisms, stopping the growth and activity of microorganisms, destruction of microorganisms. Okay, so by applying various methods, we can stop the growth of activity of microorganisms. Second principle of food preservation is protecting against self-decomposition of food. Protecting against self-decomposition of food. Okay, so it inhibits the activity of endogenous enzyme, that is phenolase enzyme. So phenolase enzyme is involved for the oxidation of phenol to phenol. Okay, so mostly these enzymes mainly involved for the browning of the fruits. Okay, so delay or inhibit the chemical reaction, non-enzymatic browning. Okay, so you are going to protect against self-decomposition. Self-decomposition means, okay, so if for example if we are having banana means, so that we can keep it for, you can keep it for 1 week, then what happen, it will start to become brown color. Okay, what's the reason? Because of the presence of enzymes, phenolase enzyme. Okay, so these enzymes are involved for conversion of phenol to quinone. Okay, so this is the reason for brown in color in the fruits. Okay, and it's also delay or inhibit the chemical reaction, start a non-enzymatic browning reaction. Okay, and protection from invasion and spoilage by insects and rodents. Okay, so we can also protect our food. Okay, so from the insect and rodent also. Okay, the fourth principle of food preservation is protection against losses by mechanical causes. Okay, so by mechanical means we can say that there's um, various mechanical things available. Okay, so for example, we can say from the we can't take it out. Okay, it will not come out. Okay, so like that. Okay, so these are the principle of food preservation. Okay, so protection against protecting against from microorganism and protection against self decomposition, protection from insects and rodent, and protection against losses. Okay, so these are all the principles of food preservation. What are the importance of food preservation? So important and vital in food industry due to number of social, psychological and health factors. Okay, so why it is important? Why the food preservation important? Because it's important for the food industries. Okay, due to the various number of factors. What are the factors? Mean social factors, psychological factors, and health factors. Okay, so this food preservation increase the shelf life of food. Okay, so increase the life of the food. Okay, retain the quality of food. Okay, what the quality means? Okay, we will not change the color, the texture, flavor, nutrition, every value, everything should be remain. Okay, so this is the reason for food preservation. So retain the quality of food, increases food supply. Okay, so increases food supply means we can't get it. We have already seen. Okay, we can't get all the products, any kind of product at any season. Okay, so we can get it any kind of food at any season. Okay, so it increases the food supply, adds variety to the food. Okay, it adds a variety of food. So if suppose example we can say mango, mango we can easily, raw mango we can take. Okay, so from that if you preserve the mango now, we can eat mango pickle, mango juice, mango powder, raw mango powder. This various option available by using the preservation. Okay, this decreases wastage of food. Okay, so it is also decrease the wastage of food, make foods available throughout the year. Okay, so decrease the wastage means, okay, once we have consumed everything now, anyway we have to apply. What happened next? We have to go into throw out in the dustbin. Okay, so this can be avoided. Okay, if we having more amount of that particular food, we what happen, you can preserve the food for some times. Okay, or we can save it for the 1 week or 1 month or 1 year, like that we can save it by using the preservation method. Okay, make food available throughout the year. From this method, from the food preservation, we can get the food throughout the year. Okay, so why it is important? Mean it is increases shelf life of food, retain the quality of food, increases food supply, add variety of food, decreases wastage of food, makes food available throughout the year. So, what are the methods for preservation? So, it is fully based upon the what kind of food and how much quantity of uh, food going to be preserved. Okay, so the preservation method vary according to food items and quantity of the items to be preserved. Okay, so the preservation method fully based upon the food items, what food items are going to preserve and what the quantity of the items we are going to preserve. Okay, so principle of food preservation can be broadly classified into two types. Based on the principle, it is divided into two types. One is bactericidal method, another one is bacteriostatic method. Okay, so bactericidal method means it's used to kill the bacteria. Bacteriostatic method means it's used to prevent the microorganism. Okay, so this straight method, it's a straightforward method. Bactericidal method is straightforward method. Okay, so bacteriostatic method means so it's going to prevent. Okay, so let's see what are the example. Okay, bactericidal method means most of the organism are killed. Okay, so in this preservation method we are going to kill the microorganism. Okay, so example we can use cooking, canning, pasteurization, sterilization, irradiation. These are all the methods. Okay, so used to kill the microorganism under bactericidal methods. Okay, so cooking, if cooking means what, we are going to increase the temperature. Okay, what happened if you increase the temperature, high temperature, what happened, the microbes started to decompose, started to okay, so here the one of the canning. Okay, so it will not allow the air inside the can. Okay, pasteurization. Okay, what pasteurization means, what happened, you're going to heat the food and sudden heating. So this is pasteurization. Sterilization method, sterilization you are going to same method like about cooking. Okay, so you're going to sterilize. Okay, by heat heat. Okay, by heating. Irradiation method, you are going to apply the radiation. Okay, so these are the methods comes under bactericidal. So bactericidal methods means what, you are going to kill the microorganism by using any one of the method. Okay, next one is bacteriostatic methods. Bacteriostatic method means it is based on prevention of multiplication of microorganisms, based on the prevention of multiplication of the microorganism. This is can be achieved by removal of water, use of acids oils, or spices, keeping the foodstuff in low temperature. So it is your bacteriostatic method means what? It's not a straightforward method. You are going to prevent, okay, you are going to prevent the entry, prevent the multiplication of the microorganism. How you can do this one? How you can do the bacteriostatic method mean by removal of water. Because removal of water may be containing more amount of microbes, right? So if you remove the water means what happened? The microorganism will not be there, then multiplication will be occur. Multiplication will not be occur. Okay. As the use of acids, oils, spices. Okay. So these are some of the material. Okay. So used to prevent the food from the microorganism. Next, keeping the food stuff in low temperature. If you are freezing the food, now what happen? Automatically the microbes will not enter into the food. Okay, so you are going to prevent. Okay, next, what are the methods comes under bacteriostatic means drying, freezing, pickling, salting, and smoking. So these are all method comes under bacteriostatic methods. Okay, so bacteriostatic methods. What are the methods will comes under bacteriostatic method? Means drying, freezing, pickling, salting, and smoking. So these are all techniques comes under bacteriostatic methods. So next, another method for techniques of food preservation. So there are two techniques for food preparation. One is physical techniques, another one is chemical techniques. Physical means what happened? You are going to do physically, okay? So chemical means you are going to add the chemical to preserve the food. Okay, so physical food preservation means we are going to use the any one of method like freezing and canning. So these are comes under the physical method. Okay, so this physical method based on killing the microorganism or at least stopping their growth for long enough. Okay, so by using the freezing and canning method, we are going to kill the microorganism or we are going to prevent the food from the microorganism. Okay, by stopping by stop to enter into the food. Okay, and drying, gamma radiation, exposure to ultraviolet or high intensity white light, ultra high pressure, and filtration. These are all techniques comes under physical techniques. Okay, so physical techniques also it is fully based upon, it is used for killing the microbes. Okay, killing the microbe, at least stop their growth by entering. Okay, um, so this is what are the method means freezing, canning, drying, gamma radiation, exposure to ultraviolet, high intensity white light, ultra high pressure, and filtration. What are the chemical techniques? Okay, so what are the chemical techniques for food preservation? So preservatives work either as direct microbial poisons or reducing the pH to a lower level. Okay, that prevents the growth of microorganisms. Okay, so chemical method it can work, it preserve the food either direct microbial poison, that is once you added the chemical, now what happened? Direct microbial poison. It will directly kill the microbes. Okay. Another option is water or reducing the pH to a pH level. Okay. So if you are reducing the pH level means what happened? It will start to decompose and uh, it will prevent the growth of microorganisms. So one is direct killing, this straightforward method, and another method is prevent method. Okay, so chemical technique work either as a direct method or prevent the growth. Okay, so what are the chemicals used today means nitrate. Okay, so these nitrate and nitrates used to preserve the meats. Okay, another one is sulfite. Sulfite used to prevent the browning of fruits and vegetables and to prevent the fungal spoilage. Okay, so in the market you can see most of the that they are doing illegally. Okay, so using the sulfate, okay, more amount of not that much, more amount of sulfate they are using. Okay, to prevent the fruit from the brown color. Okay, so what are the chemical used today means these are the some chemicals here. I mentioned only two chemicals here, nitrates and nitrate. Another one is sulfite. Nitrates and nitrate used to preserve the meat. Sulfite used to prevent the browning of fruits and vegetables to prevent fungal spoilage. Okay, so these are two techniques. One is physical techniques, another one is chemical techniques. Okay, so physical now freezing, canning, drying, irradiation, everything comes under physical. Chemical means what? We are going to use the chemical to kill the microorganism or prevent the growth of microorganism. What are the common food preservation method? Means bottling and canning, pickling, drying, salting, vacuum packing, cooling and freezing, waxing, pasteurization, boiling and smoking. So these are all methods comes under common food preservation. Okay, so we will see one by one. First, we are going to see about bottling and canning. Bottling and canning are process of preserving food by heating and then sealing it in a airtight container. The food is boiled to kill microorganisms, then sealed to prevent other microorganisms from getting in. Okay, so the bottling and canning is also one of the method to preserve the food by heating. And what happened once you heated, then it will be sealed. Okay, so in a airtight container. Okay, so what the uses mean? What happened? It will during the processing of heating, it kill the microorganism. Again, then they will seal. Okay, so seal means it will not allow to enter the microorganism. Okay, so it will prevent other microorganism to get in. Okay, and these are the given. I given it's a bottling and canning. Bottling, we can see most of the juices. Okay, so juices, mango juice, orange juice, everything comes under the bottling category. Canning category, here I have mentioned baby corn and some of the sweets. Okay, globe jamun, this everything comes under the this technique. Okay. Um, Next method, pickling method. Okay, so pickling food in vinegar or other acids make it difficult for microorganisms to live. Okay, so we're going to pickling the food by using the vinegar or any other salt, acids. These are all material are used to um, prevent the growth of microorganism, and it will start to decompose the microorganism. Commonly picked food include onions, soya beans, and chilies, various lemon, mango. These are also picked. Okay, pickled. Okay, so these are food items comes under the pickling process. Sugar can also be used in pickling process as mangoes and cherries. Okay, sugar also used not only the acids and vinegars. Sugar also used for the pickling process for making jams. Okay, for example, what are the food products used? Is mangoes, cherries, various food products used for the pickling process, which is sugar used as a preserved material. Okay, preservating material. Okay, so here you can see the image of preserved food by sugar and some of the acids. Okay, and the concentrated sugar solution used draws water from the fruit, thus preventing the growth of microorganisms. So sugar solution also used as a preservating agent for preventing the uh, growth of microorganism in the food. Next method for preservation of method is drying method. A lot of food is preserved by drying under the sun. Okay, so you can preserve the food by drying process. Okay, so you can dry the food by under the sun. Okay, so drying removes most water from food. Okay, so if the waters are there now, what happened? If the microorganisms started to grow in the water, right? So you have to remove the water for preserving the food. So this removal of water can be done by the drying process. Okay, most bacteria die or become inactive when the food is dried. Okay, so what happened if you dry the food? Now what happened here, the bacteria will not be live. Okay, so what happened, it started to become inactive and it will be die. Okay, so this is the process to dry the food. So what the example for dried food means? Most of the dried food like vegetables, nowadays vegetables are dry under the sun. Then what they will add some of the buttermilk and some of the salt, salting process, everything. Then we are stored for the month and or week. Okay. So these are the example for dried food. Next method is salting method. Salting is an age-old way of preserving food. Salting is an age-old way of preserving food. The salt draws out moisture and prevents microorganisms from growing. Okay, so what happened when we are using the salt material? Mean what happened? It will remove the moisture content from the food. What happened if you remove means what happened? It will here the microorganism will not be grow in the food. Okay, so it will stop the it will prevent the microorganism to grow. Okay, so in this process, food such as fresh fish, okay, or cutter, washed, and coarse salt is rubbed into it. So dry fish, okay. So mostly dry fish is used as a preserved by using the salting method. Okay. So in this process, what they will do means first they will take the fresh fish, then they will clean all the parts. Okay, remove all the unnecessary parts. What happened? Then they will cut it in small piece. Then they washed. Um, then they washed, and coarse salt should be rubbed into it. A lot of our local foods are preserved by salting process. Okay, so here dried fish. Okay, so mostly they're fully based upon the dry fish. Okay, dry fish or preserved by using the salting process. Vacuum packing method. So vacuum packing keeps food by sucking air out from its packaging. Okay. So vacuum packing process means we are going to suck out all the air which is present inside the packer. Okay. So if the air present now, the some of the moisture content will be there. Then moisture content there means what happened? The microbes will be start to live. So if you remove the air means what happened? It will not grow. It will not enter. Okay, so food is thus prevented by spoiling because there is no air. Okay. So vacuum packing method it's used to keep the food keep the food by sucking air out from its packaging. So here I given the example vacuum packing is commonly used for storing nuts, sliced fish, pickled and dried fruit. Okay. So these are the food materials or stored or preserved by using the vacuum packing. So here you can see the peanut. Okay, so peanut are preserved by using the vacuum packing method. Here there is no air. Okay, so here you can see the carrot, that bun and sweets and meat, everything follow the vacuum packing method. Another method is food preservation is cooling and preservation. Cooling and freezing method. Cooling and freezing are the most common forms of food preservation. Cooling slows down the action of microorganisms that it takes longer time to spoil. Okay, so it allows the food from different parts of the world to appear on our supermarket shelves. So cooling and freezing most common forms of food preservation. We can it is mostly all vegetables, fruits, or follow the this procedure is cooling and freezing procedure. Okay, so cooling means what happen? It slow down the action of microorganism. Okay, so what happen? It will stop the growth of and the multiplication of the microorganism, and also you can get different fruits from the different places. Okay, so we can store our food. Okay, from the various places. Okay, so most the import foods, everything will be comes in the cooling and freezing process only. So what the degree Celsius, what's the temperature, what's the range? It means 0 to -4 degrees Celsius. Okay, so at freezing temperature microorganisms become inactive, thus food cannot spoil when it frozen minus 18 degrees Celsius. Okay, so at freezing temperature microorganisms become inactive. It will in, so that the food cannot spoil. Okay, so what's the temperature for the frozen means minus 18 degrees Celsius. The food like meat, fruit and vegetables are kept in the refrigerator. You can see the images here, images. Okay, So various food available. Okay, various foods available which is stored in the freezer. Another one is waxing method. So waxing of fruits and vegetables also common method. Okay, so apples, oranges, eggplants, and tomatoes are dipped into liquid wax to prevent growth of fungi and loss of moisture. Okay, so this waxing method mostly used for some of the food like apple, orange, eggplants, and tomatoes. Okay, so how they prepare mean just they will dip the food product into the liquid wax. Okay, so what the uses mean? It is used to prevent the growth of fungi and loss of moisture content. Okay, so but if you want to eat the waxed food, mean you have to wash thoroughly and you have to peel it off. Okay, so you have to peel the skin before eating. Okay, so it is a major disadvantage of waxing method. Another method is pasteurization method. Pasteurization means what? You are going to heat the food in a high temperature. After that, you are going to give the sudden cooling. Okay, so that is pasteurization means heating the food to a certain temperature for some time, followed by rapid cooling. So heating at such high enough temperature kills most bacteria. However, it does not affect the taste and nutritional value of the food. Okay, so pasteurization means you are going to apply high temperature for some period. Okay, for some times. Okay, so once you applied, what happened? You have to go into rapid cooling. Okay, so what happened here? If you are applying the high temperature means what happened here? It kill all the bacteria. Okay, so when you are applying the sudden cooling, what happened? The some bacteria will stay at the cooling condition. Okay, so can be so it can be avoided by the pasteurization method. So however, it does not affect the taste and nutritional value of food, because if you are increasing the temperature for particular temperature means what happen, sometimes the taste and nutritional value of food will be occur, but in this pasteurization process it will not affect the taste and will not affect the nutritional value of the food. Okay, so for example, we can see butter, yogurt, everything comes under, but not butter, milk product. Okay, so milk, fresh milk, yogurt drink, and juices, everything are pasteurized to make them last longer. Okay, so it's an example. So example for pasteurization method: fresh milk, yogurt, drink yogurt, and juices. Okay, so these are all pasteurized one. It is to make it longer. Another method is boiling method. As a food is heated and cooked, the heat kills the microorganism. Boiling kills most bacteria, and those not affected by the heat will grow when the conditions are suitable. So, if you are boiling the food, means what happened? It started to kill the microorganism. Okay, kill the microorganism. So, mostly all the bacteria will killed during the boiling process, but uh, and also once it's killed it will not grow under the heat condition. Okay, so next one is smoking process. Smoking is the process of drying food with smoke for a long period of time. So this method mainly used for fish, fruit, meat, fruit, and uh, etc. Okay, that is the example meat they fruit they given banana. Okay, so smoking means the process of drying food with a smoke for a long period of time. Okay, so we're going to give a smoke for the food. Okay, so this method, which food can which what are the foods can be preserved by using the smoking method means a fish, meat, fruit. Okay, particularly banana. Particularly banana is preserved by smoking method. In the image, you can see the smoked meat. Okay, so in the image, you can see the smoked meat. So the drying effects of smoke and the chemicals produced from the smoke help to preserve the food. Okay, so what happened? Effects of smoke and chemicals. Okay, some chemical they apply. No, so the smoke and chemicals will preserve the food from the microorganism. Another one is chemical additives. What are the chemical additives used to preserve the food? Okay, so food additives are substances added to food to preserve flavor or enhance its taste and appearance of prevent spoilage. Okay, so for food additives, some of the additives are available commercially. Okay, so which is added to the food to preserve the colors and flavor. Okay, to preserve the colors and flavor, and is also used to enhance its taste and its appearance, enhance its appearance and prevent from the spoilage. Okay, so chemical additives inhibit the microbial growth. Okay, so normally food additives available which is used to preserve the color, flavor, appearance and prevent from the spoilage. Some of the chemical additives available which is used to inhibit microbial growth. Okay, so what are the chemical additives means? Acetic acid, benzoic acid, lactic acid. Okay, which is used legally. Okay, not illegally. So these are used legally to preserve the food. So nitrates and nitrates preserve the meat color. So we already seen. So nitrates and nitrate used to prevent the meat color. So here you can see some of the food product, right? So see these products, some of the uh, chemicals, okay? So used to prevent the uh, uh, enter of microorganism. Okay, so and we can last it for the long year. Okay, so for example, Maggie. Okay, so in the Maggie we added annatto, monosodium glutamate. Okay, um, sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfate, then tetrosin, sodium propionate, sunset yellow colors. Okay, the chemical additives. Okay, erythrocin, cyclomate, saccharin. So these are all, see these are all some of tetrasin, sunset yellow, FCF. Okay, sodium sulfate, potassium bisulfate, annatto, uh, sodium benzoate, aspartamate, cyclomate, sulfur dioxide. These are all used as a chemical additives for the food preservation. Thank you.